The 49ers just might face a grandpa in a couple of weeks. What's up? Welcome to Cohn and Krueger. That's Larry Krueger. I'm Grant Cohn. Welcome back off the bye week. It's been a while. Today's episode is brought to you by Rula Online Psychiatry and Mental Health. Mental health is a big thing for me. I always wanted to go to a therapist, but I couldn't afford it, didn't have time. But ever since I got this YouTube channel, you guys are so generous with the super chats. I take the super chats and I send it to my therapist. I go once a week. Problem with therapy is that it's kind of expensive, but Rula can be as cheap as $15 a session. Thousands of guys have already used Rula to finally get the care they needed. Don't keep putting it off. Go to rula.com/Cohn and get started today. That's RULA.com/Cohn, COHN. Take the first step, get connected, and take control of your mental health. Today's show is also sponsored by Eye Health, 1-800-CONTACTS. I don't use contacts. I should use contacts. My eyes get tired all the time, but now that 1-800-CONTACTS is sponsoring my show, I feel great about taking the plunge and finally using 1-800-CONTACTS. So I will get back to you in a minute. Hold on. What do I want to say about 1-800-CONTACTS? Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. That's what I wanted to say. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now. Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com and download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. I'm going to. You should too. Larry, here's my question for you.
I wear contacts, by the way, and I'm a big fan. I do, and I'm a big fan of contacts. I started wearing them in high school. I've never really worn glasses. I own a pair of glasses. If I want my kids to make fun of me, I'll put on my glasses. But I rarely, if ever, you've never seen me in glasses, you'll never see me in glasses. I'm a big believer in contacts.
That's good to know. I've never seen you in glasses, and if I ever find you, I'll take a picture so people can see. But
No.
If you want contacts, go to 1-800-CONTACTS. Are the Titans worth discussing?
No. They are 32nd in total offense, 31st in points per game, 26th in total defense, 29th in points allowed per game. They are bad. They're 2-11.
Okay. Let's look at it.
And every person that I've talked to from Tennessee this week is like the most negative person I've ever talked to in my life. I mean, I've talked to like 3 different people, and they're like, I'm like sitting there going, can I even air this on the radio? I mean, these guys are just absolutely blistering the Titans. They blistered the owner, the GM, the coach, the quarterback, basically everybody in this entire franchise, except for Jeffrey Simmons, has just been backhanded by their media in the interviews that I've done.
The Niners are going to win this game.
Yes.
I mean, we just saw Shedeur Sanders light up this defense. So Brock Purdy should light it up as well. I guess what's interesting to me about this matchup is what the Titans offense could potentially do against the Niners defense, because the Niners defense has looked pretty good the last 3 weeks, but it got lit up by the Rams. These aren't the Rams, but they don't have much on. The best players on the Niners defense are Deommodore Lenoir and Jair Brown. They don't really have that much. And now you're going up against an offense with Tony Pollard, who was great last week, Cam Ward, who was the number 1 pick. Do you think that they can exploit some cracks in the Niners defense, or this should be another easy Robert Saleh performance?
Well, early in the Browns game, Judkins was running well. He had a number of runs on first down that were like 7 yards. But, it's weird. The Niners have a way of taking the run game away without really stopping it. Like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was against Carolina, Dowdle ran for 6.3 a carry, but they stopped running. He had 6 carries all day, and they just stopped running. So that seems like that happens to the 49ers. They've had some games where it looks like they've stopped the run, but they really haven't. So I think that's Tennessee's best shot in this game. Tony Pollard is coming off his career best day. He went for 6.4 a carry last week against Cleveland. And, if the Titans are going to have any success, they're going to have to run Pollard. They ran 25 times last week. They're going to have to run him 25 more times this week and run about that effectively to have any shot at all, because they got no real passing attack. They got this kid Shamiri DK who's got some speed, but Ridley's hurt, and they just don't have a whole lot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have any receiver you have to be worried about. So, like, what this offense presents is a good running back. Tony Pollard had a good game last week. He's got 743 yards for. He's a pretty good running back. And they have Cam Ward, who I, do you like Cam Ward?
I really like him. I like him a lot, actually. He's one of those guys though that he's just not ready. I mean, he's such a he's a feel guy. Like in the fourth quarter when they got a lead against Arizona, man, he started making some amazing plays. I mean, he's a really good competitor. If you put money on the table in the fourth quarter, that guy's going to elevate. But he's got no supporting cast. They got no run game with any consistency. They don't have any receivers. Their offensive line's not good. So he's not the kind of guy that can elevate a team by himself at all.
Well, this feels like kind of like a layup. I mean, all you got to worry about is this one running back who's good but not great. You got Cam Ward who can run around a little bit as well. He's got talent, but he has no one to throw it to. If the Niners can't shut down this offense, you got to wonder about their defense. Coming off a bye week,
Definitely.
they're going to be facing much better offenses than this. This should be another really dominant performance from Robert Saleh and the Niners defense.
Saleh, excuse me, I'm kind of terrible running nose. I mean, you know what? Give me 30 seconds. I got to get a tissue.
Oh, that's all right.
You can fill it.
Dum 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 dum. He was gonna blow his nose in his hand on my show. Isn't that crazy? I would never do that to Larry. How disrespectful. Nah, I feel bad for him. It's cold out here in the Bay right now, man. I was in Cleveland. It was cold. Came back, still cold. Man, I'm so good at my ad reads. You like that? The way I always grew up wanting to do ads, and now I do. It's a good feeling. Which brings me to my next ad, Kirkland. They make sparkling water, and I love them. Kirkland brand is Kirkland. I'm just like a walking advertisement for Kirkland. They don't pay me. I got Kirkland water, Kirkland t-shirt. I'd have a Kirkland hot dog right now, but that'd be rude. Talk my mouth full. How you doing? You feel better?
All right, I'm back. Yeah, I just got this terrible congestion. I've been fighting it. Sorry about that.
It's cold out here. Okay, I think we talked enough about the Titans. Let's talk about Phillip Rivers. He signed with the Colts practice squad today. He might play this weekend, probably not, but it seems like there's a real chance he plays against the Niners next week. What do you think about the return of Phillip Rivers at 45 years old?
I just think this is hilarious. I think this is a really bad decision by Indianapolis, a really desperate decision. This guy hasn't played football in 5 years. He's 44 years old. If you're gone for a year, that's a lot. If you're gone for 2 years, that's an eternity. He hasn't played since 2020. I think is he going to play this next game before the Niners? He may not even make it to the Niner game. I can't believe they're not going to go with Riley Leonard. I know Riley Leonard was not great the last game against Jacksonville, but Jacksonville's got a decent defense. He was 18 of 29. He had one pick. I just can't believe Phillip Rivers is going to be able to step in and play well. I'd be shocked if he plays well. I'd be really shocked.
Yeah, I'd be worried for his well-being. Maybe Riley Leonard gets one more opportunity this week to show what he can do, and if he plays well, he plays against the Niners. And maybe Phillip Rivers will just be like the emergency backup. Maybe. But I think it's a great story. I mean, Brady did it. Yeah, he didn't take 5 years off, but I just think how weird this season has been. Wouldn't it be fitting if Phillip Rivers somehow ended up being the Super Bowl champion?
That would be the wildest
weird
story.
Like that
feels would be like the wildest story in the history of the world. I mean, I'll say this. I've been doing this YouTube thing for 4 years. If I take like 2 days off, I'm like, wait, what button do I press? How do I do this? And that's just from streaming on YouTube. This guy hasn't played football since 2020, and he's going to step into 2025 at 44 with receivers he has no rhythm with a line he doesn't know, team he doesn't know, and he's going to produce. I'd be shocked if he can get through an NFL game and just play badly and lose reasonably. I think he's either going to be headed towards an injury or something. I mean, this is the NFL. You can't sit out 5 years. I don't believe it. If he comes in and plays great, I will be absolutely floored.
Well, I can see why he wants to do it because it's a really good team. I mean, it made Daniel Jones look good. You have an elite running back. You have a good offensive line. You have one of the best tight ends. You have a pretty good defense. You have some good wide receivers. I mean, Pittman's good. Yeah, I can see why he'd want to. I feel like Tom Brady would want to. You think Brady is jealous right now and wishes that he wasn't with the Raiders? I
Well,
mean,
not
that's
only
not
that,
going
I mean,
anywhere.
Philip Rivers pushed his Hall of Fame thing back now because now he's not eligible for the Hall of Fame for 5 more years.
Well, when he wins the Super
So
Bowl this year, then he'll actually get into the Hall of Fame.
yeah, he may. Well, that's the thing. Maybe
Because
he feels like
it's no slam dunk that he's getting in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, it's true. It's true. But I mean, I think it's likely he'll get in at some point. But you're right. It's not a lock. Maybe he feels like he needs to improve his resume. But he was on the
This might be
verge.
the best team he's ever played for.
I mean, are they just going to have him hand it off, and throw
Probably
7, 8 times?
And then throw to the tight end, throw the 6-yard pass to Tyler Warren, just pretend he's Antonio Gates, hit him every time. How do you think he can still throw the ball down the field? I mean, he's always had a funky release.
No,
He's been coaching.
He's got a low trajectory. Yeah, I mean, the fact he's been coaching is good because that means he's at least, he's in the whole rhythm of football. But I don't. I will be shocked. I'll be shocked. I'm trying to think have we ever seen anybody take time off and come back?
No Colin Kaepernick. They didn't even call him up, man. That's fucked up.
Well, the guy I was thinking of that took time off wasn't Charles Haley when he came to the Niners in their last time they had him. Wasn't he just off the street? I don't think he was playing for anybody. I think they just signed him off the street, and he's a defensive lineman, and he still just didn't look right. He didn't do much, and that was Charles Haley.
Bruce Miller took a bunch of time off and came back.
Did he?
Bruce Miller took a bunch of time off and came back randomly.
Okay.
Michael Vick.
But Michael Vick was younger. And was Michael Vick good when he came back?
He actually had a pretty good year with Andy Reid, but he was younger. I'm rooting for Phillip Rivers. I just feel like it's too bad that the Colts couldn't get Joe Flacco. I feel like my friend had this take, and I love it. Shout out to Kevin. Jameis Winston should not be on a team. He should work for the NFL. And anytime a starting quarterback goes down, you should have to have Jameis Winston as your starter. Everyone loves Jameis Winston. He's a lot of fun. I feel like it's too bad Jameis can't be the quarterback for the Colts.
He's
not good. He's just fun.
You just when all your quarterback options disappear, you can petition the league for Jameis.
Yes,
man. He was a hit during the Super Bowl. I remember that. He was driving around New Orleans, and he was a hero. I mean, he was
what a rebrand.
Dude. I mean, Jameis Winston's got a personality.
Yeah,
first pick in the draft.
Anyway, Phillip Rivers. I just can't wait to cover a game with 45-year-old Phillip Rivers. It might be the only game he plays. He might not make it to halftime, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to be watching. And if the Niners lose to Phillip Rivers, I can't imagine the things that are going to come out of my mouth. It's going to be a good time, one way or another.
Watch the Colts cancel the contract when he asks for tickets to the game for his children. They're like, we can't give up that many tickets. Yeah, seriously.
Grandpa
Remember that family,
Rivers.
the DeBolts? The DeBolts used to have like 20 kids. He's like the DeBolts.
Yeah. His oldest kid, I looked it up, is 23. So his oldest kid, his daughter, is 2 years younger than Purdy.
That's wild. Well, yeah, I think he was a rookie like 5 years before Purdy was born. Something like that.
I can see it. Okay, Phillip Rivers, good luck. Eric Kendricks, UCLA guy on the practice squad, could get called up, probably will get called up. Do you think this is like a referendum on Curtis Robinson? Do you think he's here just to be depth, or do you think they signed him, kind of promised him some playing time? What do you think the vision is for Eric Kendricks?
Well, it's interesting, Grant, because Shanahan was like, we've been talking to him all year. So it sounds like they've been eyeing him for quite a while. Mm-hmm. I just think they're really beat up. Bethune's beat up. Winters is beat up. Gifford's beat up. Robinson's beat up. Nick Martin's in the concussion protocol. Warner's done for the year. But I think Wallow is the special teamer, and then Kendricks is going to be Tatum Bethune insurance. And I think there's a chance Kendricks may play pretty decently, actually, because once you know the position, that inside linebacker position, you can play effective football. It's it's a very instinctive position. I don't think he's lost a ton physically. He's not a great coverage player, but on first and second down against the run, I think Kendricks might be really, really good. He might even be an upgrade on Robinson, to be honest.
Do you think he takes Robinson's job, or do you think they roll with Robinson in the playoffs? I think
I
like
think,
they want to see a little bit more with Robinson before they commit.
yeah, I think it's just going to be whoever plays the best, and it might be Bethune. I mean, I would kind of expect it's going to be Winters and Bethune by playoff time, but we'll see. We'll see. I thought Bethune had a 16 tackle game. He had a 12 tackle game. I think if Bethune started going downhill a little bit once the injury started to mount, but now that he's been given some time to rest up, man, Bethune might be a player for them going forward.
Bethune's a good player. Assuming he comes back, he will be the middle linebacker, green dot player. I wonder if Kendricks would take D. Winters' spot. D. Winters had a good start to the season, but it seems like since Fred Warner went down, D. Winters' play fell off a cliff, and he's someone that defenses try to go after.
I don't think I want Kendricks playing coverage, but you know what? I know I don't want Luke Gifford playing coverage, so that's going to be a big question: is can the Niners find a linebacker who can cover? Winters has coverage ability, but he's dinged up. Bethune not as much. Gifford I thought was one of the worst I've seen, and I don't know about these other guys. I'm hoping Nick Martin gets healthy, but that's a concern. Is do the Niners have a linebacker who can cover in a passing league? It's kind of important. I don't think Kendricks
reminds me a little bit of
Kendricks' numbers last year against the pass were bad.
This reminds me a little bit of a couple of years ago when the Niners signed Logan Ryan late in the season.
Yeah,
he like came out of retirement. He was on a cruise boat. It seems like the Niners aren't going to waste his time, and Kendricks isn't going to waste his time. I don't know that he loves football that much. He was waiting on the couch. Didn't really seem like he wanted to, break his back for a team going nowhere. Wanted to survey the options and join a team for the playoff run. So that's what he's done. The Niners are in position. I bet he's going to play. I think it's interesting they haven't called him. They called up that other guy to the 53-man roster and not Kendricks yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be on the field for them, and they'll call him up eventually.
I do too. Kendricks is going to play. There's no question about that. I just don't know exactly how it's going to shake out. But I think Wallow will be the special teamer, and I think Kendricks will get the elevation. He'll get some run. He might even start at some of these games. I would not be surprised if Kendricks wound up starting.
Yeah, it's interesting that they could have had him last year, but instead he went to Dallas and they signed Devondre Campbell, and that worked out great. I wonder what happened to Devondre. Is he still in the league? CJK04 says, no way they play Old Man Rivers against Seattle's defense in their blitzes. Go Hawks. See you week 18. No way they play Old Man Rivers. Yeah, I guess one more week for Riley Leonard. See what he's got. I know you like him.
I like him. I like him as a prospect, but he's super raw, and he's not a big time thrower of the ball. He's just an interesting quarterback prospect. He's an athlete, and he'll run around, and he's kind of got some moxie to him. But other than that, I think he's a developmental player. I don't expect him to play well at all if he does play.
Todd9941 says, envision your YouTube title in 2 weeks. Purdy gets outplayed by 44-year-old quarterback. Lombardi's clickbait. Purdy outplays a future Hall of Fame quarterback, Grandpa Rivers. Love it. Kev TF says, YouTube rap says I'm at top 0.1% of Cohn's own viewers, and I'm not even a real Niners fan. Just a fan of the town. With 1 month to go, what is the top California burrito?
Ooh, it's a big state.
I mean, I'm heavily biased. I'm from Oakland. I feel like you got to go to International and 29th. Migriense in the parking lot of the Goodwill. It's they actually have chairs and tables now. It's been there since 1985. The chairs and tables are new. I'd recommend it. What would you recommend?
Well, okay. I mean, there's a couple different ones. I mean, when I lived in the city, I used to love Gordo on 16th and Geary, and there was another one on 24th and Geary. And there was one in Oakland as well.
There's one in Berkeley.
Yep, yeah, I love Berkeley. Yeah, maybe it's Berkeley.
Gordo's
I think it's
great.
like college. Gordo. It's very solid.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. I like La Taqueria in Montclair. And I ran into you and your girl there. You and your dad were having dinner, I think, at a different restaurant around the corner. It's about a month or so ago. That's a good spot. And then I kind of like in the city on Haight Street. I don't know if it's still there, but growing up in the city, there was a great burrito place called Zona Rosa on Haight Street, like a block away from Stanton in the park. That was a tremendous burrito place. So those are the ones that stand out to me. I'm sure there's got to be a bunch of good ones, though. San
Well,
Diego,
Oakland
San
also has
Diego is really good.
Oakland also has some great burgers. I know you didn't ask about burgers, but I just had one. There's a new place called The Station, which is right next to the Claremont Hotel. It's been there a couple of
Okay.
months. It's owned by Charlie Hollowell, who had boot and shoe service and a bunch of good restaurants in Oakland. It kicks ass. It is so good. Couldn't recommend it enough. Got to do a
Really?
YouTube. Oh,
I'm a
it's
Nations
10 bucks
man
for a double.
myself. What do you think of the Nations burger, like in El
I
Cerrito?
like Nations. I've always liked Nations.
Yeah,
Nations is
Nations
great.
is solid. There's one in Orinda
Mhm.
that the Nations is pretty damn good. They have a very limited. I've noticed that
They
places
take a
that
half an hour to make your burger, but it is good when
yeah,
you get it.
right, and it's a little thicker than your typical In and
Mhm.
Out, but like it's a small menu, kind of like In and Out. It's like they don't do a lot. They do
They
breakfast,
got
they do
pies.
burgers and pies. That's about it.
Pies. Jack London as well. They got one down there. Nick over by Plank. Talk me out of getting hyped. Feels like the stars are right. Bowl is ours. Also, Larry, breaks are important. Wear glasses an hour before bed. Let them breathe.
It's true. I do have some glasses for late night, but I won't show. I won't wear them. I won't show anybody what I look like with them.
It just feels like the league is so freaking wide open, and the team that's going to win the Super Bowl this year is either going to be the Niners or some team that's going to make me laugh, like Philip Rivers and the Colts. Something ridiculous. It's not going to be the Eagles. I'll tell you that. It's not going to be the Eagles.
I would say, like, I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm thinking I like if you gave me two teams in each conference. Let's just say you can have these two teams in each conference. In the AFC, I would take the Patriots and Drake May and their magic carpet ride. And then I think, and I'm debating this last one, but I think I'm taking the Houston Texans and that killer defense over Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. If I had to go with a second team, I don't believe in Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Ravens, Chiefs. Don't believe in any of those teams. Give me that killer Texan defense or Drake May and the Pats. I think that's the AFC team. In the NFC, I really believe it's either the Rams or the Niners.
I got a bonus topic for you. This is just an NFL at large topic.
Yeah.
I'm going to name players. You tell me if they're not good anymore.
Okay.
Because there's been some incredible performances this year. I'll name a player. You tell me if he's still good or not. Jalen Hurts. It looks like he's throwing a 5-pound block of concrete, dude. It looks so hard for him to throw. I don't want to know what happened to him.
There's something broken in their offense. Now, I don't know if it's him or if it's AJ Brown, if it's their line, if it's Saquon, if it's the coordinator, but their offense is broken. He looks like a guy who doesn't want to throw it in the middle of the field and doesn't want to throw it down the field. He looks like he's gone from this kind of gutsy tough guy to captain check down, afraid of his own shadow. I think Hurts stinks. The people that were telling me a couple years ago that Hurts is way better than Purdy, you're all wrong. Okay. I think Hurts is hugely overrated. I think at some point, I'll make this prediction right now. I don't know when it's going to be. It's probably not going to be this year. Probably going to be next year. At some point, Hurts is going to get hurt. They're going to put Tanner McKee in there, and Tanner McKee is going to show them that he's better than Hurts, and then they're going to trade Hurts. And they're going to go.
I wouldn't be surprised, if he gets run out of town the way Carson Wentz did. And he gets full credit for his 2 Super Bowl performances and his Super Bowl MVP. He's got a great resume, hell of a career, but I think he kind of sucks now. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he had an injury or the league just caught up to him or the offensive coordinator doesn't do him any favors, but I think if they were to put in Tanner McKee, I wouldn't be surprised if the offense was better with
Well, you know what
Hurts.
he doesn't do? He doesn't rip it. Like, if you talk to Brock and say, hey, man, sometimes, can you grip it and rip it? He's picturing, okay, I got to rip it. There was a play in the end of the game, in the last drive, in the Chargers-Philly game, where Hurts drops back to pass and just ripped an absolute seed to Devontae Smith for a first down on 3rd and long. It was like 3rd and 15. He connected with Devontae for like 28, and he absolutely ripped it right in the middle of the field. But it's the kind of throw that he doesn't make anymore. And then, 2 plays later, Cam Hart tips the ball, and Jefferson picks it off, and it's ball game, and the Chargers win. That really wasn't Hurts' fault, I didn't think. But Hurts just will not rip it in the middle of the field. He's very hesitant.
Okay, I got another name for you. Is this guy still good? Lamar Jackson.
Um, I don't know what to say about Lamar Jackson. He's not playing well, and he's not old.
He's not. He's not the
Um,
running threat he used to be. Maybe he's still kind of hurt, but they don't run him as much anymore.
I just think their entire equation is kind of bogging down when you think of the Ravens. I mean, so they're a bully team, right? They got to get a big lead on you, and then they got to pound Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell or whoever. But I mean, I just think that their offensive line's not quite as good. I think they're in decline. I think the John Harbaugh run there is ended. I think in the offseason, they're going to wind up losing Linderbaum in free agency. He's going to leave. That line's going to get worse. Their weapons, they just re-signed Mark Andrews to an extension, and that means they're going to let Isaiah Likely walk away in free agency. I think the Ravens have been a really well-run organization, great GM. But I think John Harbaugh is going to hang it up. I don't know if he's going to hang it up this year or be forced to in a year, but he's at the end.
I mean, in 2019, he rushed for 80 yards a game. Last year, he rushed for 53 yards a game. This year, it's 30. So I don't know. Maybe he's 28. Mobile quarterbacks don't necessarily last as long, but I'm concerned about Lamar Jackson. And final guy, this might be the most controversial.
He's sub
Patrick
500 in the
Mahomes.
playoffs, by the way.
Patrick Mahomes.
Um, and once again, I mean, the Chiefs are just stale. They're just old. Kareem Hunt's old, Kelsey's old. They're just not that effective. We just saw. I mean, we ripped on Mac Jones for how he looked against Houston. He looked better against Houston than Mahomes. He looked better against Houston than Mahomes did. So,
He did. He looked better against Houston than Josh Allen did.
Yeah, Houston made Mahomes look really bad. So I don't know. I tend to think that Mahomes is only 30, right? But
he
you know
can't
what?
throw down the field anymore. I mean, that's him. Now, he doesn't have Tyreek Hill anymore, but like when he throws down the field, it seems like it's way overthrown or way underthrown, which is mind-boggling because he used to be the best.
Football doesn't last for long. Now, I mean, for every Tom Brady who plays till 46, there's a Russell Wilson who was a Hall of Famer in his 20s and forgettable in his 30s. And it's like Patrick Mahomes has had the advantage of the greatest continuity in the league in this era. Between he's got the same head coach, same special teams coach, same defensive coordinator, same everything. I mean, they've had so much continuity, and they play in this lousy division. And yeah, last year they played a bunch of tough games and then got their doors blown off by a way better team in the Super Bowl. And this year they're just losing. And I just feel like Andy Reid's at the end. I don't think Mahomes
That's
is
what I
at
was
the
going to
end.
say.
I
He's
think Andy
almost
Reid's at the
70.
end.
Yeah, I
So,
think
yeah.
he's at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's
It's
the
a young man's
creativity in their
game, man.
offense?
It's a total young man's game. And there's
Yep.
no guarantee that some guys are like Brady. Brady was a better athlete at 35 than he was when he came into the league. He was just a bigger, stronger athlete, better, quicker, worked on his body, all the eating right. I mean, he had incredible longevity, but there's no guarantee you get longevity. Russell Wilson was awesome in his 20s. Russell Wilson is no longer awesome. And how old is Russell Wilson? 33? 34?
No, he's about
Is he more? Is he
he's
older?
older than that. He's about 30, 35.
Okay. But I mean,
About
he's
35.
been bad for 3
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
And it's like, so like, should he be, I mean, Mahomes is 30. I mean, technically he should have 10 more years ahead, but you kind of get the feeling that he benefited greatly from having so much coaching talent around him and personnel. And as it erodes, he's going to have to shoulder the load. And I don't know if he's capable. It appears that he's not capable of shouldering the entire load.
One more guy, and this isn't whether he's not good anymore because he's really good, but he had a moment last night, and it was interesting. You tweeted about it, and I agreed. Justin Herbert got his ass kicked last night, won the game, 7 sacks, broken hand. After the game, Laura Rutledge goes up to talk to him because, like, it's the NFL and he's the quarterback of the team that won. And he like actually tries to walk away and say, I don't want to do it. He's on live television and Laura, God love her, just sticks with it and is like, no, I'm asking you my question. And he like a little petulant child, kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, and answers the question in this like perfunctory, rushed way. He came across, I don't know, like a real jerk. What do you think of Justin Herbert?
Very, very talented. I mean, God knows he's a huge talent, but there's something that's not a winner about him. I mean, he was terrible in that game. I mean, they won in spite of him, not because of him. Now, granted, he was sacked 7 times. His hand is beat up. He looks like he's playing in a lot of pain, but this guy doesn't look. I mean, I'll say this, man. Part of being the leader is having that mental maturity. The NFL quarterbacks, I think the most underrated aspect of NFL quarterbacks is their intelligence. You have to be really, really, really smart. And part of being really, really smart is having mental maturity. Just ask yourself, would Brock Purdy have done that? Would Steve Young have done that? Would
Mac
Alex
Jones
Smith have done that? Would Mac Jones have done that? No, 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 and no. And would Joe Nobody would have
Because
done
we
that
know because we've seen them not do that. Like, Justin,
right.
is this your first time in this situation? Is this new to you?
I mean, we had the other day we asked Brock Purdy so many questions about his toe and his motion and his failure in the last game and his turnovers. And dude, do you think he likes sitting there answering questions from guys who don't play in the league and can't do what he does? And no, but he's a pro, dude. He's a total pro, and he shows no anger at Larry Krueger. He shows no frustration with Grant Cohn. He shows no discontent with Matt Mayoko. He is a pro, and there's an old saying: "You are who you are when nobody's looking." And I almost felt like, even though we were all looking right there at Herbert, I kind of felt like we were getting who he really is, because it was like he didn't realize we were all looking at him. I felt like we were getting kind of like live mic, like
it's
video
not just how he
equivalent.
treats Laura Rutledge in the media. I think
No.
it also kind of shows that he's sort of like antisocial, standoffish. I wonder how he treats a lot of the players on his own team. He seems like the kind of guy that like you don't have to worry about him from a physical standpoint. He can make all the throws. He's tough. He'll be out there. But from a leadership standpoint, does he give you anything? Anything? How do you? Because football is such an emotional game. How do you get behind him? I think that's why they need Jim Harbaugh, because he has all that. I don't know what you would call it.
Just look at last night's game. Look at last night's game. If that had been the opposite, if the Chargers had lost 22-19 and Laura Rutledge had to chase down Hurts, would Hurts have done that?
No.
Or would he have absolutely stopped and talked and been gracious? And Hurts would have been a pro.
Yep.
That's all we're saying.
The last quarterback that I remember that would act like that to me, and I don't know if he did, but he had it in him, was Kaepernick. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both were coached by Harbaugh. Now, I feel like Herbert's been like this since Oregon, but there's something about Harbaugh who like almost enables quarterbacks to be this way. Like, forget the media. But then Harbaugh's so good with the media. I feel like he's a bad mentor in that way.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? I'm in the media, but I'm all for, you want to give the media the Heisman stiff arm, go for it. But there's a right and wrong time to even do that. This is a paid deal. Do we really believe that Laura Rutledge is this greatest reporter and she randomly gets this? Is Lisa Salters just dogged? No, it's set up in the contract.
Yeah.
She parks herself at the 35. And they bring the guy over. Now, sometimes the guys, and he's like, I want to celebrate with my teammates. Dude, is this your first game? I mean, is this your first rodeo? Act like
it's not Oregon anymore, buddy. Sorry. You got to do this.
If you were a rookie and this was your first game, I get it. I wouldn't even say anything. I'd just be like, oh, dude, he's a rookie. He doesn't get it. This is written into the contract. I guarantee you. They're not talking because they like it. And the ESPN's not asking those questions because they want him. It's in the contract. That's why it's done.
I just think this is the kind of stuff that people projected onto Shedeur Sanders. And this is the kind of stuff that, like, the reason he fell in the draft, because people thought he would do things like this. If he ever did this, it would be such a huge deal. Justin Herbert did it. I'm glad that people were upset about it online. Like, just because he's this quiet kind of goof from Southern California doesn't mean he's not under scrutiny. because he is, and that was bullshit. And he could be the face of the NFL if he didn't act like that. But I guess this is who he is.
And you know what? That young lady had a job to do. You know what? I mean, it's like the same reason that she doesn't bolt into your film session and demand, a one-on-one interview. Why? Because you have a job to do. And she has a job to do, and anybody with any common sense, and he knows better. This is not a guy that didn't know better. He knew better. He knew. She's got a job to do. She had to run like 10 yards and chase him down. Now, that's kind of normal, but still, it's like it's a bad look. And it's funny. I had people calling me a bitch for complaining about, oh, you're, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, man, I'm going to call out. I'm going to give you my honest opinion all the time. Let's just get used to that. And it's I'm not pro.
It overshadowed the game.
And I'm not anti-team, and I'm not pro player. Yeah, I mean,
all he had to do was be a gentleman, but he wasn't. And so that little 30 seconds overshadowed the whole game because the game sucked. Sorry. Good job. I wanted to see Trey Lance and Tanner McKee. That would have been fun. Jalen LeGrant says Purdy 3 interceptions win. Hurts 4 interceptions lose. Just saying. M. McCann 78 says, is there any scenario that you see SF pulling off a trade of BA versus cutting him, like BA for DJ Moore straight up? What do you think?
Well, the Aiyuk thing is so strange because the 49ers cut all of his guaranteed money, and yet every time there's an open mic situation, they're stumbling over themselves, patting this guy on the back and congratulating him and being nice to him. And well, what is it? Do you want him or do you not want him? Do you like him or do you not like him? I almost get the feeling like Lynch and Shanahan like the guy, and Jed and Parag like the cash. And like
that's what I think, Larry. Agree. I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
It seems they love to paint the one voice picture. We speak with one voice and we are united to the end. Well, you might want to stop saying so many friendly, nice things about this guy that you took away all of his guaranteed money, because it really leads the rest of us to one conclusion and one conclusion only, that you, John and Kyle, are not on the same page with Jed and Parag. And that's not like us looking for clicks. It's just obvious that Jed and Parag are like, give us our money back. And you're like, well, this can still have a positive outcome. It's like, and anybody who's doing these interviews with John, it's like, have you guys heard of a follow-up? When he says, hey, this could still be a positive outcome, you say, oh, really? How do you see that? I mean, a follow-up right there. How do you see a positive outcome, John, when you've taken away his guaranteed money and seemingly his motivation to play for you? How can it possibly be a positive outcome? Could you maybe explain that? Because I don't understand how we get from A to B here. I mean, is that difficult to follow up, or is that combative to follow up with, hey, you seem to be very positive that this can end positively. Paint that picture for us, because I'm not seeing it.
I just think it's weak that John hasn't spoken to us since this has gone down. He'll talk to KMBR, but that's like talking to 49ers radio. Like, come on, man. We've talked to Jawan Jennings about this. We've talked to any number of players, coaches. It's your turn to talk to someone other than a KNBR host who would get fired if he didn't ask you the question. You might even have to give you the questions beforehand, and might not be able to ask the follow-up question. I think John owes all of us an explanation. And I agree with you that it's probably Lynch and Shanahan want a good player and want York and Parag to spend for the good player. And York and Parag didn't want the guy in the first place. He's hurt. They tried to trade him. And they sort of let Aiyuk hang himself. They found a loophole. They knew he would he would breach the contract, and they didn't say anything, and they let him do that. That's what I think happened. And I bet you Kyle's not happy about it, because who's the replacement? Demarcus Robinson? They don't have one.
Well, I mean, yeah, they don't have a replacement, but beyond that, I think Lynch and Shanahan are in the business of being very player friendly, where Jed and, I think Parag is just only cares. He's just there literally to protect Jed's investment and the family's money. And other than that, I don't think Parag has even relationships with the players. Probably he's probably just the guy who just comes in and negotiates the deal, finalizes the deal, making sure the organization's not screwed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just we'll see. We'll see how this ends. But you're telling me, John, that there's a scenario where Aiyuk, even though you ripped away his guarantees, is going to put himself back out there and potentially be happy again with this organization and want to continue, or is it just something that you say in an interview to kind of get through these interviews? I don't know. It doesn't. I need more clarification, and I need a follow-up question that says, you seem very positive about this, that this could go in a positive direction. Could you tell us why? It's so positive?
Instead of us guessing, it'd be nice for him to actually answer. I mean, my guess would be that, Brandon Aiyuk flip-flopped a lot last year during the negotiations, and maybe there's a chance as the playoffs get closer that he has a change of heart and decides he wants to play for Kyle. Other than that, it's not like Jed and Parag are going to have a change of heart and start negotiating with Aiyuk again, giving him back some of his guarantees. But here's my question. They've taken away his guarantees. Do you think they're going to release him at the end of the year, or do you think they're going to try to get cute and trade him? Like what the super chatter asked for someone who's on the outs with their team, someone like DJ Moore, straight up.
I mean, I think they would rather trade him than cut him. And I think John, and maybe that's what maybe that's what all this positivity is about. Let's present.
We like him. He's
let's
good.
present we like him. You want him? Make us an offer, because it's still supply and demand. And there may be there's a lot of dumb teams out there. There's teams.
And what did Lynch say? They had to take the guarantees away. They didn't want to. They had to.
Right. And when Shanahan was asked about it, he's like, that's above my pay grade. You got to talk to the lawyers and the people. And, so like he doesn't understand it, or he doesn't get it, or he didn't endorse it. It happened above his. I mean, you are the guy. You're Shanahan. Mm-hmm. You're making $5 million a year. You're partying with Rick Ross. You're the guy. Let's not, let's not pretend that you're not
if you weren't the guy, Rick Ross would be partying with someone else. He'd be partying with John Lynch, but he's not.
All right. You've got Rick Ross at your party. You're the guy.
That's pretty much the rule of thumb.
Yes.
Keith and Bernie, the unbeaten, says, not making excuses for Hurts, but there is no continuity coordinator. Brock gets Kyle every year. Philly doesn't. That's a fair point. I don't know what to make of Jalen Hurts this year. Just physically watching him, he looks like he's laboring when he throws the ball. And when I watch Patrick Mahomes throw a ball, like his deep balls, that's his fault. I can't blame anyone else. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go in. And then when Lamar, like, where is the running dynamic ability that you used to have? You used to be the best runner I've ever seen. And now it's like, dude, you're just going to throw the whole time? Like, what? Sorry.
Lamar is sub 500 in the playoffs. I thought the game that he played on Christmas at Levi's was maybe one of the greatest games I've ever seen him play.
Agreed. And that's the only time I've ever seen him in person, which is why I'm a Lamar truther. But when I watch him on TV, I'm not impressed anymore. Richard Evangelista says Herbert looks like he hasn't hit puberty. Kind of acts like it too. Richard Evangelista says the game last night looked like a peewee football game. Every time I looked up, that guy was getting smacked. Herbert. BA Niners just trade after capital with PR. What? Niners just after trade capital with PR. Okay, got it.
Well, yeah, I think that might be actually. I think that even though that was kind of butchered the way he said that, but I think he's right. Yeah. I think it really is. All of this dialogue is just to prop the door open for the possibility of a trade. I still think it's likely they release him, but I think they're going to play this out and see if somebody makes him an offer.
Richard says BA should play for the UFL or Arena League. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Let's talk about the linebacker the Niners signed. They added him to their 53-man roster, Garrett Wallow. Do you think he's going to play linebacker, or is this is another addition to an elite special teams unit?
Definitely a special teams guy. Definitely a special teams guy. And the Niners have an assistant special teams coach named Anderson, who I knew there's always going to be some connection. It's like, why do you like this guy? Well, Brant Boyer likes him. Brant Boyer is getting who he wants, or if Brant doesn't have a guy, then his assistant Anderson's getting who he wants. And this guy's got experience with Anderson. So I think it's really that. Wallow is a special teamer. And I think they also understand that, they're really banged up at linebacker, and they don't know when Bethune's coming back. It may be a week, it may be 2, maybe 3. And then I think they want Kendricks, but they want to activate Kendricks and have him play from scrimmage. So then it's a matter of who's going to play special teams, and I think Wallow's going to be that special teamer. And I would not be surprised if Wallow plays Sunday on special teams against the Titans.
I agree, and I think you're forgetting someone who's quite forgettable, but I think this is bad news for this one player on the team, Nick Martin. He's in the concussion protocol. I have a feeling he's going to stay in that concussion protocol one way or another. They weren't that eager for him to play. He kind of got forced into action due to injury. He's been okay, and I think it's the end of the Nick Martin experiment, at least this season. Wallow's going to take his snaps on special teams. He'll be the backup weak side linebacker, and Nick Martin will get the rest of the offseason to figure it out.
So they're in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot because, I mean, look at it this way. Wallow's a special teamer. Martin's raw. Gifford is a special teamer, a good one, but a special teamer. I think Curtis Robinson is much more of a special teamer. Winters and Bethune are dinged up. And Kendricks had terrible coverage grades last year, as a pass cover linebacker. So they look like they are entering this last phase of the year with linebackers that cannot cover. And that could be a very painful lesson. It could be the reason they check out in the playoffs if their linebacker, if they can't find some linebacker who can cover somebody down the field.
One more transaction. This is interesting. Kurtis Rourke, the rookie quarterback from Indiana, missed all season with the torn ACL. He's finally healthy. They opened his practice window, and now they get the rest of the season. I doubt he's going to play or get activated, but they get the rest of the season to see him in practice and determine whether he's good enough to, I assume, be the number 2 quarterback next year. And if they like what they see in practice, they could feel more confident about trading Mac Jones in the offseason. What are your thoughts and feelings about Kurtis Rourke? Do you think he's good enough to be the number 2 guy next year and allow the Niners to trade Mac Jones for a second and third round pick, or is he more of a third string guy?
I'm not really sure. I'll say this: there's great toughness there. I mean, he played a whole season on a torn ACL. I mean, I'm not like a little bit. He played the whole year and led Indiana to the college football playoff with playing on a torn ACL. So he's tough. A lot of these Canadian guys are tough, and he's a Canadian guy. They call him, his nickname's the Maple Missile, and he's a football family guy. His brother Nathan plays for the BC Lions in Canada. So I've talked to him. I think he's smart. He's competitive. He played well in 2 different programs, played well in the MAC for Ohio, and then transferred to Indiana and was really good in the Big Ten. So I think there's talent. He's not mobile, and I don't think he's as accurate as Jones. I think to be honest, I think he's just a little bit above average. I think it's very, very likely that next year's quarterback room is Purdy, him, and probably some third, either a reclamation project third guy or a draft pick. But I think they'll
Phil
trade
Rivers.
Jones. Yeah, Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers will play so well that he'll impress Shanahan, and he'll be the backup next year.
Joe Flacco. Doesn't this feel like a little bit like a audition for Kurtis Rourke? I mean, we know that Kyle really does judge quarterbacks based on what they do in practice. Trey Lance was so bad in practice that Kyle never really opened up to giving him an extended look, really, in the regular season. If he plays well, I mean, do you think this is an audition for Kurtis, or do you think this is Kyle already has a feel for where he's going to slot in the future of this team?
I think they like him a lot. I really do. I think they like him a lot. And I think they knew they were getting a redshirt candidate, and I think this is just all according to plan. They knew they were going to open up his practice window late in the year. Kyle made reference to it way back in training camp. He made reference to it early in the season. Now he's doing it, and I think that's the plan. I think it's a 2-year plan. I think it's this year, get him ready. Next year, you go into camp with, my guess, Purdy. They'll probably re-sign Adrian Martinez. They like him. They'll have Rourke, and I think either they bring in a reclamation project that they think could start, or be the number 2 in front of those guys and let, Martinez and Rourke compete for number 3. Or if they think that Rourke or Martinez has shown enough, maybe they'll go into the draft for that last guy, have it be a developmental guy, and have Rourke be number 2. But I definitely think Rourke, Martinez, and Purdy are in that quarterback room next year.
What intrigues me about Rourke is, like, it's the Niners had this success with Brock Purdy. Something led them to Brock Purdy in round 7. So reverse engineer it, go back and look at the scouting report. What were the traits you identified in Brock Purdy that compelled you to spend a draft pick on him in round 7? Then do it again. Try to find another, not Brock Purdy, but another quarterback who can work in your system in round 7. And I feel like that's what they tried to do. Doesn't mean that he'll be successful, but it's another swing using the same template blueprint that led him to, absolute gold. So a lot, I mean, we've seen so many quarterbacks do well in this system. If Kurtis Rourke is a low-level starting caliber quarterback with some timing and anticipation, he'll be really good on this team. I want to see it.
He had good numbers. I mean, he had really good numbers, Grant. If you look at his numbers, I mean, he completed almost 70% in 2020, 2022, and 2024. His career was 67%. And then you look at his touchdown passes, 79 touchdowns, 21 picks, 29-5 in his final year. That's pretty good. And then yards per attempt. I mean, he's driving the ball down the field. 8.8, 9.2, 9.5 his final year. So those are Purdy-esque kind of numbers. I think they feel like he's a pocket passer who can process, who sees the field well and has potential. And we'll find out next summer. I think we'll find out in the preseason what he really looks like.
Also, he has a ton of experience. He was at Ohio for 5 years, Indiana for 1, threw almost 1,300 passes in college. Not a project by any means, has played the position, has a feel for it. All he needs to learn in the pros is Kyle's system. And those types of quarterbacks have had some success. I could see him being better than Nick Mullins. We'll see. I mean, we haven't seen him play in a while, but he was very successful
talent.
at Indiana.
Bigger talent.
I mean,
than Nick
and people
Mullins.
and people are looking at Francisco Mendoza like he's someone, right? This guy played well at the same school.
Number one. He's going to go
number one. This guy went 7th round and went to the same school. I don't know if he's as good as Mendoza, but he's definitely less dorky, although there's a little bit of a dork. Every quarterback needs a little bit of a dork factor. I think Mendoza takes it too far. What was that?
I know. He seemed almost like, this guy almost seems a little too corny to lead a room full of badass guys.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, you need to stop doing that. Like, that'll work at college, but I don't think it's going to work in the NFL. Like, Mr. Voice cracking, like, oh my God, I'm so. He looked like Howard Dean.
Right.
Remember Howard Dean?
That guy's going to walk into the room and a bunch of, 7th-year defensive linemen are going to be like, that's our leader. Yeah, right. Right.
Think so.
See, that's the thing. That's to me is what Mac Jones.
Corny.
I think Mac Jones.
Richard Sherman had a problem with Russell Wilson for being corny, man. This guy Mendoza is 10 times cornier than Russell Wilson ever was.
This guy's Mr. Rogers compared to Russell Wilson. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, he's like a cartoon character. I feel like he's like, a quarterback. I'm expecting to get slimed. I felt like I was watching a quarterback brought to you by Nickelodeon or something. It was like, that guy's gonna walk into a room of badass dudes, and they're all gonna be like, he's our leader. See, the thing about Brock is he's got the smiley face. But don't let the smiley face fool you. He is a competitive dude and a tough competitor. And Mac Jones, don't let the humor and the cackle confuse you. Mac Jones is icy. And those two guys, that's why I wouldn't give away Mac Jones, because Mac Jones showed me a lot this year. Mac Jones is not a fluke. He's not an accident. He's an icy, accurate quarterback.
I agree with you. And I feel like the way that college is evolving, where it's essentially pro sports and there's the transfer portal and you can stay for 800 years, these quarterbacks come into the league pretty developed and very well scouted. And I think the days of finding the diamond in the rough are becoming fewer and far between. So God love the Niners for getting Brock Purdy in round 7. I don't think that they're going to do it again. And Josh Dubois put out a tweet a few days ago just showing that 120 of the 160 wins this year have been from first round pick. Like most of the winning quarterbacks are first round picks. There's very few exceptions anymore. So you got one in Mac Jones. He's a former first round pick. He's playing well. He's in your system. Keep him one more year, and instead of trying to get greedy and replace him with the next diamond in the rough, who probably won't be a diamond in the rough.
There's one fact about the Niners that's vitally important that we don't know the answer to, and that is, how much rope does the regime have with the owner? How long, how much pressure is there on Lynch and Shanahan to, I don't know, produce something, or Super Bowl results, whatever, playoff berths? I don't know. But Mac Jones took this season from a loss season to a non-loss season. And if I was Kyle Shanahan, I would need more than a second round pick to give up
Agree.
a $7 million quarterback that saved my bacon this year, especially if I don't have, if Mac Jones wasn't here, or let's just say they had Adrian Martinez and they, instead of going 5-3, they went 3-5 and they missed the playoffs. Would Kyle be fired? I don't know, but I think he back-to-back missing playoffs. I bet you anything he would go into next season in a way
That's what I wanted
more
to say.
tense situation than he is right now. So maybe keeping Mac Jones is the better play, really. He's job security.
Yeah, people don't talk about that, and I don't think that anything's going to happen this year that would cost them their jobs because one, they have a good record, and two, Bosa and Warner are out. But next year feels like a big year, a kind of a no excuse year. And if they were to miss the playoffs or have a losing season, they could get fired. And if Brock Purdy gets hurt and they don't have Mac Jones, that could happen. That's a great point, Larry. When you put it that way, I could see Kyle Shanahan saying, look, Jed and Parag, I know you'd like to trade this guy, but he's not costing us much money. And from a football perspective standpoint, I don't like it. We need this guy one more year.
And at that price point,
he walks in 2027.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too. I've heard people that think they're smart say, "Oh, come on, man, they're not going to get more than a third round pick for him." I'm like, dude, if you keep him next year and let him walk away the following year in free agency, you're going to get a third round pick. So why would you trade him for a third and not have him when you could keep him and get a third round pick in the next draft? You need that third round pick accelerated into this draft that badly? I don't think so. So to me, if he's going to be dealt, he's going to be dealt for a second round pick and most likely a player or a second round pick and another pick. It's going to be a higher return than you think because something has to motivate the Niners to give up on a $7 million starting quarterback. And by the way, $7 million for a starting quarterback is such a screaming deal that I think his contract makes him more valuable.
And you got to keep in mind, like, Lynch's contract expires after next season. The Niners can get out of Brock Purdy's contract after next season. If things go bad, York and Parag could pull the plug on this whole operation after next season. So there is a lot of pressure on 2026, much more than there is in 2025. No more taking lumps. If you're lucky enough to still have Robert Saleh, I'm not sure that you will, but that'll put even more pressure on it because the final year of him. 2026 is going to be good for content creators. I don't know about for Kyle, but for us, it's going to be good.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I can't get beyond, I hear it echoing in my eardrums, is Kyle saying at one point something that it sounds like came from Jed, where he's like, Brock Purdy's the last quarterback we're ever going to have here.
He did say that.
And he said that in a way like it's his call, but I don't think it's his call. And I think that might have been said to him, and he's just repeating that.
Like, all right, we'll pay the $250 million. We'll put it in escrow, but this is it. No more like, oh, we invested in Trey Lance, but actually our quarterback's the guy in the back of the room. No more of that. And so maybe that's why they can't pivot to Mac Jones, even if they wanted to.
They were very not open to it. I mean, let's be honest. They were like, it ain't happening. But also when Lynch was asked by TK in that TK podcast interview that he did with him, are you going to trade Mac Jones? He's like, Bill Walsh did a nice job of accumulating quarterback talent. But then he's like, drops a big but in there. And that just tells you right there that they're going to trade him. They're going to trade him. Yeah. They're going to assess it. They're going to get what their price, or they're not going to give him away. But I do think they're going to trade him.
Let me reverse psychology this one. Kyle, John, definitely trade Mac Jones. That's what I think you should do. In fact, I'm going to get really upset if you don't trade Mac. You better trade Mac Jones.
Yeah, I like the way he did that. So now basically it's like, are you guys going to do what Cohn said you should do?
Can't do that. Can't have that. God forbid.
Do not do that.
Sometimes I feel like the Niners are bigger trolls than me. You know what I mean? Like last week against
that's saying something.
You know what I mean? Like they came out with 5 straight passes because everyone said they had to run. Like, okay, troll recognized troll. I see you, Kyle. I like it. That's what I would have done.
Well, sometimes I get the feeling that sometimes Kyle just doesn't want to say yes. Like I asked him the other day after the Cleveland game. I thought when you factor in those conditions, Myles Garrett, that defensive line, the 7 throwaways, Brock never has thrown 7 balls away in a game. And the result was they won on the road in 25-mile-an-hour winds or whatever it was against a pretty damn good defense that's kind of had their number. And I said to Kyle at the presser, I'm like, hey, man, is this one of the Brock's better games in a Niners uniform? He's like, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. It's like, what?
You just love saying no to whatever your question is. So
Right.
if you had phrased it the other way, like, was this not one of Brock's best games? Like, was this kind of just an ordinary game? Be like, no, I thought it was one of his better ones.
Thought it was good. Thought it was good.
Thought it was great.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, prize picks. Brock Purdy, 240.5 passing yards, more or less? More or less. What do you think?
You know what? That number's so high that I'm going to say more. I think somebody knows something that we don't know. I mean, on paper, I would say no. The Niners are going to play complimentary ball, dominate, run the ball, especially against a defense like this. That, I was looking at some of those numbers. They don't stop the run that great. But no, I think that number's so high that I'm going to go more. I think Brock's going to throw for close to 3 bills.
I mean, Shador just threw for almost 4 bills against this defense, so I think that's why the number is so high, and I think it's fair to pick more. I like that pick. Cam Ward, 184.5. It's not a lot, but he just threw for 117 against Cleveland. Niners don't have that defense. So, what do you think? 184.5.
He's not going to have enough attempts, I don't think. They're going to try to come out, they're going to try to play ball control and run the ball, I think, with their back coming off his career day. And the Niners struggled, to stop the run. Judkins had a lot of 7-yard runs. And by the end of the game, his numbers didn't look great, but I thought they struggled to stop the run.
They had to play like a 9-man box to really slow him down. They had no respect for that passing game. Maybe they'll do the same thing against Tennessee. That brings us Tony Pollard, 161 last week, 60 the week before against Jacksonville. The number this week is 40.5, more or less.
Rushing yards?
Rushing yards.
More. 40?
That's an easy one. 40.
Did anybody
it's the vaunted Niners defense here.
Yeah, have you guys looked at the Niner rush D?
I'm telling you, sometimes Prize Picks is just very generous, and I appreciate that about them.
Yeah.
Receiving yards, and we'll get out of here. Kittle, Jennings, McCaffrey. How about McCaffrey? 45.5 receiving yards for McCaffrey, more or less.
Say that number again.
45.5. He went for 21 in Cleveland, but 53 against Carolina.
I like more. The Titans are 23rd in pass defense. They're not a great pass defense. I like 20.
One more. George Kittle, 49.5 for George Kittle. He's been on a tear.
You know what? I think this is the game. I don't know about this one because I think Kittle's going to be so vitally important down the stretch that Kyle may underuse him in this game.
I have one more thing I want to do. In fact, actually, let's do rushing yards and let's do McCaffrey. 74.5. What do you think, more or less?
The Titans rush D's 18th in the league. So I'll say more.
Okay, that's fair. And I agree because Kyle's a troll and I'm going to say what I'm going to say and he's sure watching. I think this will be a great week not to give the ball to Christian McCaffrey a ton of times. It's the Titans. You're going to win one way or another. Christian's not what he used to be, but he's super important. And you got to get him to the playoffs fresh. You gave him a bye week. He's fresh now. Don't give him 30 touches against Tennessee. You can definitely beat Tennessee in other ways. That's my humble suggestion, Kyle. Feel free to not take it.
B. Rob, let's see a little Brian Robinson this weekend.
I'm not saying play all the backups, but be smart. Flex the play. Submit your lineup. Use promo code Cohn, COHN. Play $5, get 50 instantly in lineups when you use that promo code COHN. All right, we got a few more super chats.
Yeah.
Abyss 007 says the Niners have avoided the 7th seed, the Niners have to avoid the 7th seed, not to start at Green Bay, and then the Rams better start at Tampa or Philly. You don't want to go to Green Bay.
I'll tell you the team that I'm starting to think I want to see. I would love to see the Niners against the Bears. I went through the Bears games, and the Bears have had like 7 games in the last 9 where they've given up over 5 yards a carry to opposing running backs. I think the monsters of the Midway, I think you can run it down their throat. And I think Niners are going to beat them running the heck out of it at them.
All day, everyday Kim says, I see a few of y'all talking bad about Lamar and a few other quarterbacks. Y'all should worry about the Niners quarterback. He isn't good enough for this fan to bash. I just wanted to, since I'm not a Niner fan and I bash Brock a lot, I wanted to show people that I bash everyone. I am an equal opportunity basher, and I don't have anything personally against the 49ers. I just cover them, and it's a lot of fun. I'm a basher at heart. I'm a bash brother, a bash son. So thank you all day, every day. Kim Torres says, how can I get access to watch 3 Deep? You got to be a member on my channel or Coach's channel or Jesse's channel, and then we will send out a link day of in our community post. So become a member. It's $2 a month. Joseph Ernberg says, the positivity around this team pisses me off.
Love Ernberg.
They won 3 in a row, and they're going to win a 4th coming up. We can save the angst for when they finally don't win the Super Bowl in a couple of months, but we're not there yet. Golden Poppy says, if the Niners win the Super Bowl, would the Yorks deserve it? I mean, we'll see how it unfolds.
We've been waiting a while for it, that's for sure.
Joseph says, 44-year-old Rivers is 10 times the quarterback Brock Purdy ever will be. And on that note, thank you, everyone, for your wonderful insights and commentary. Larry, thank you very much. I appreciate you as always.
Absolutely. We'll see you down there. You got
Torres, thanks for becoming a new member. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Niners are back. We'll see what they have to say for themselves tomorrow.